since its leaders feel a debt of gratitude to Prussia for helping them stamp out the 1848 rebellion. This causes much bitterness amongst their southern allies. The first clash of arms takes place on July 4th near Dernbach in Thuringia. Prussian and Bavarian troops fight to a standstill, with several hundred men killed or wounded, but no clear winner. When the Bavarians hear of the Austrian disaster at Königgrätz, they withdraw to defend Bavaria without telling their Confederation allies. Bavarian morale is low, but they fight hard on their home turf. On July 10th, they face the Prussians in battles at Hammelburg and the spa town of Bad Kissingen, where there's fierce fighting amongst the resort hotels. Writer Theodor Fontane reports on the heroic but pointless Bavarian sacrifice. A soldier from the 15th Bavarian Regiment had entrenched himself in a room in the Hotel Zanna. He refused every request to surrender. Finally,
as mad as it may seem to contemplate
into a side door. "Take pardon," the Westphalians shouted at him. "I don't want any Prussian pardon," he shouted, and advanced with his bayonet and was cut down. His heroic courage had won the respect of his enemies. The two battles cost the Prussians about 900 dead and wounded, and the Bavarians about 700, along with 33 horses. Fontane notes how local civilians helped care for the wounded. The locals, as well as the foreigners, were equally compliant in offering gifts and sacrifices. The resort guests of all nations, especially the ladies, competed to ease the suffering of the unfortunate to the best of their ability. The Bavarians fight bravely, but do not stop the Prussian advance. The Prussian High Command now tries to win fast before peace negotiations begin. Prussian troops defeat the forces of Hesse-Darmstadt at Laufach on the 13th and an Austrian brigade at Aschaffenburg on the 14th. On the 16th, the Prussians take the free imperial city of Frankfurt, which was symbolically important because it had been home to the Revolutionary Parliament in 1848, the Federal Council of the German Confederation, and was the coronation place of Holy Roman Emperors since the 16th century. Frankfurt politicians resist Prussian plans for annexation, and when the Prussians threaten to bombard the historic city, Mayor Karl Fellner hangs himself out of despair. The Prussians now cross the Main River and meet the Württembergers at Tauberbischofsheim. The Southerners have artillery superiority, but their inexperienced officers try to take a bridge by ordering 5 suicidal bayonet charges straight into Prussian rifle fire. Nearby, Baden units simply abandon their fight against Prussian allied Oldenburg Hanseatic forces, which forces the Württembergers to retreat. On July 25th and 26th, the final battles of the Main campaign see the Prussian Main Army fight the Bavarians at Helmstadt, Oettingen, and Rossbrunn. Bavarian troops repulse Prussian cavalry in the final engagement, which does little to influence the war as a whole, although each side loses about 900 men. A fresh Prussian force now advances into northern Bavaria, which brings an end to southern resistance. Prussian units march into the Bavarian capital of Würzburg on August 2nd, much to the chagrin of the local newspaper. Der Hass gegen die Preußen ist mit jedem Tag stärker hervorgetreten. The hatred against the Prussians grew stronger with each day, which must be attributed in particular to the overconfidence of the Prussians, who always and at every opportunity boasted of being the victors over the Bavarian troops. While Prussian arms carry the day in Bohemia, Hanover, and on the Main, Italy keeps its word and opens up a second front against Austria with unexpected results. The Kingdom of Italy had united out of many smaller states in 1860 after a series of wars. Rome sees the current war as a chance to gain the mostly Italian-speaking Austrian province of Venetia for the new nation-state. Bismarck wanted Italy to join to make sure that Austrian forces are split, even though von Moltke has doubts about Italian effectiveness. The Austrian General Staff history later takes a less than charitable view of its enemies. Let us not forget that Prussia had a great ally far to the south, destined to seize Austria in the rear, while the latter was to fight in her German front to protect the whole of Germany from Prussian rape. Italy was a much weaker military power than Prussia or Austria, but Austria had most of its army in Bohemia and the southern German states.
Oh, damn, I'm sick of
so
fucking...
Italy assembles 2 armies to march on Austria. The army of the Mincio under General Alfonso.
Just trying to hear like music, sound in the background.
Crash and restart. So don't worry guys, it won't delete something like your scenes or anything like that, so don't worry about losing your scenes. It will just reset your settings. So it could happen that something on your settings isn't okay, and that's why the crashing is happening. Now let's just go ahead and close this one off. Let's just say that you cannot access it all. Once you open it up, it just crashes and just goes away really quickly. What you want to do is you want to click on right click on Streamlabs OBS and go to run as administrator. You want to try this. If that doesn't work out,
I'll go to the bathroom.
I'll close it off. You want to go over here, type the search, go to your settings, go to network and internet. You're gonna go to Windows Firewall, and you want to allow the app through firewall. So I want to allow an app through firewall. Click on change settings and now search up for your Streamlabs OBS. It will be easy to find. It will be like an alphabetic order. So like you see, you want to enable this over here, the name, private and public, and click on OK. Close it off and now restart it again. So guys, if it still crashes out, you want to make sure that you don't have something opened up like a editor or stuff like that, because those are taking too much RAM. So it could happen that maybe that's the problem. So what you want to do is go to the search bar and go to Task Manager, and once you click on Task Manager you will get this, and you want to test out if it's not using too much of your GPU or if it's not using just too much, guys. And you can go to like also performance mode and see it from here. Also on memory, like your RAM and stuff like that. And just test them out from here really easily. And if you have something opened up, like I said, like the editor, you want to close it off and start your Streamlabs OBS again. And if that still doesn't work out, guys, maybe you have like maybe a bit too long on RAM. So you want to make sure that you have at least maybe 8 gigs of RAM, guys. If you have like 4, it could give you some problems like this. So it all could happen if you have 4 gigs of RAM, but my recommendation is at least 8 gigs. So guys, I would recommend you guys to go ahead and go to also here, the search bar. You can go to Device Manager. On Device Manager, go over to here, your display adapters, click on that and click on your GPU. Double click and go to driver. Or here, go over to update driver and click on that, and now you can just search up automatically for new drivers. So maybe that could be also the reason. And most likely, guys, it's really important that you have a good working GPU if you are going to use something like OBS on Streamlabs OBS or maybe OBS Studios. You want to always make sure that your drivers are up to date. And now once you did that, guys, you can also do that actually on GeForce. So let me show you that. Just double click. It's actually a lot easier on here. I'm gonna go to
Fucking dumb. This guy's so dumb.
It's louder.
What's up YouTube, MJP back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys some ways that I found to be helpful with Streamlabs not crashing. Now I stream, record, and do everything off of one PC. Yeah, the PC's decent, Core i7, 1060, 6 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes RAM. It's an okay PC, so I'm able to do a lot of things, but I'm not able to do a lot of things. So I don't have a 2 PC setup, so when I game on Warzone and I stream with Streamlabs, I occasionally do crash. Now, I didn't really watch a lot of videos on this, actually only like one, and that was just to configure my settings in general. So I did find some useful ways to kind of like eliminate my Streamlabs from crashing. Now, these are personal like preferences, obviously. These are things that I just do and they work for me, so hopefully they'll work for you guys as well. So the first thing I do is when I go to settings, I go down to output, right? Now, when the encoder, they used to have just the X264, and that is just your CPU. Now they have the NVNC, and that's your GPU. That's your graphics card. A lot of games are CPU intensive, so what you want to do is kind of like take some of the edge off and move it over to your graphics card. Now that's what I do. And then if you go down, look ahead, and visual tuning down here, you want to turn both of these off. So that's one thing I do, and it does drop your CPU. Here, I'll show you guys real quick. I'm not going to mess with the encoder, but I am going to show you the difference between look ahead and tuning. Now, as you can see, I'm running about like a 6.57 CPU usage. Now we're going to turn both of these on, and look how it jumps up to 8.9. So we're going to turn those off. You see, now it's at 9, now it's going back down. That's what we want. We want it to stay as low as possible. Now it's jumping back up because I'm messing with it. Now the main thing that I do, you can see that I have my preview on, right? Obviously I don't have a game open, and obviously that I'm recording with OBS, as you can see, that I don't have my webcam on because OBS is technically using the webcam right now. So these aren't displaying. But if we right click anywhere on the screen, you'll see performance mode. Now that is what you want to do. This is the biggest thing you can do, is put your Streamlabs in performance mode. Now obviously your mixer isn't displaying at all. It's working, it's still streaming, it's still recording. It just disables all the previews. Now that's the hugest thing you can do. Now look at the CPU. It's at 2.3, 3.6, and it's not hovering over above 4 or 5. That is the hugest thing you can do. This is going to improve everything so much. It's going to eliminate the crash. It's going to help you out tremendously. And the preview is gone, but you still have everything recording and streaming. Now, as you can see, it's right back to normal. All you got to do is just right click, and then there you go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed normal. All you got to do is just right click, and then there you go. So hopefully tremendously that you're technically using
Okay. I'm gonna trust you for a bit, Streamlabs, and stop monitoring you every fucking 90 seconds. I can't really handle that. I can't handle babysitting a program. It's not good for my sanity. It's a fucking program. Just work. Just work. Just like, you know, work is intended, you know?
I was honestly just debating passing out with the boys when I put them to bed, but I wanted to stream because I think I found out the issue with my stream crashing. I said it last night, but I might even just be able to pull it straight from YouTube and make a video out of it. So
I guess I'm not the only one. I guess it just doesn't work for
if
anybody.
I go right here, it's so different, like the quality difference. I look a lot better on that screen. I like being on that screen more. We're gonna do a little tutorial on how to fix this problem if you come across it, and this might help you guys, might help someone you know. We'll go like this. Ready? Ooh, bah, 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 bah. So if you are in Streamlabs OBS and you're having problems down here, you got a lot of CPU, this is green, you're starting to get messages over here, frames are dropping. I noticed this. This is with this was with Warzone. I played Cold War and it was okay. Actually, it wasn't. Cold War 2 for graphics purposes. Do this, okay? So if we go to settings, I got the output. This is the most important thing. This is the only thing I did, and I'll show you the rest of my settings too, just so you guys know what they are. Hardware and Vink. So Streamlabs OBS has this option.
Why did I have 7 guys?
And it won't
Just
let me
saying.
do some of
Why did I suddenly have the entirety of the
If you
entire
go down
fucking room?
to the drop down.
Whatever.
There's the X264, which uses your CPU, and if you have an NVIDIA card like I do, it's a 2080 Ti, so it's the RTX series. I didn't have an issue with the 1080, but when I moved to the RTX series, I was getting crazy amounts of issues with this. So go to hardware and Vink. Don't use new. This is literally the only thing that I changed from all of these other settings I
Really?
can show you. And I streamed all night last night. I did Warzone, and I
All right, let's try that. That is something I have not tried. All right, we're gonna try that. Sorry, guys. Gonna restart the stream again. You know what I'm saying? While I fucking deal with this. Also, I really need to know what video you're in. Yeah, I don't trust you about that.